Woohoo!
Woohoo! I hope you heard Shona just say that. Welcome, viewers, to the latest episode of Not in January, where we talk about the things that we can go against the grain with in January. So there's lots of social conditioning around us to do things. And in this episode, I'm with my lovely friend Seonaidh Jamieson, and we're going to talk about those pesky gym memberships and the ads that came up with 50% off in the new year, why you don't have to do it, why it's not a good idea, other things that you can do. And we're going to see where the conversation takes us, because Shona and I always have really great conversations. But before we get into it, Shona, please will introduce yourself to our viewers and give them a taste of you and what you do.
Yeah, so I am Shona, and I've recently established that what I do is I help people do hard stuff. So I am a personal trainer. I work with pole dancers predominantly, but Ruth has been one of my clients in the past. I've had a whole range. I've been in the fitness industry for like 13 years now, which is terrifying, kind of concurrently with other careers. So I've kind of done lots and lots of random crap. So that's kind of who I am professionally. Personally, I am a chronic workout skipper. Like, I love movement, I love exercising, and yet I am still like the least consistent person ever. So I have to like reverse engineer everything. I have to, make sure the sun, the moon, and the stars are on the right alignment. I have to, get friends to help. I have to schedule things in. There's bribery involved, like all sorts. I am in the fitness industry, and I still struggle with all things like fitness when it comes to me personally. And most of my clients, the first thing that we talk about is like, yeah, it's just really hard, isn't it? And accept that sometimes it's just hard, and it's allowed to be hard. I also have a total vendetta against Nike's slogan, just do it. I will not, thank you very much. I will do it in a way that feels good.
I love that, and I think that's why we get on so well, because that is going against the grain. It's just do it. It's like, don't tell me what to do, I'll do it my way. But just for viewers, you said I was a client of yours. I'm a client of yours in, I think it was about August, September 2021. Was it 21? It must have been.
It was, yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think so. After I've been sat on my arse for 2 years with COVID lockdown, not having a car, my stepdad dying, loads of stuff going on, I knew that I needed to get going again. And I knew I wasn't going to gym. I knew I wasn't going to an exercise class. And I knew I wasn't going to do it on my own. And I can't remember my exact words to you, Shona, but it was something like, no one else can help me do this. You've just got to help me get off the sofa. And I think it was just as much as that. And it was great because everything we did was outdoors. You took me to parks where we did exercises, talked about movement and stretches. You took me on some great walks that challenged me. And it's kind of, that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, to help other people understand there are other ways of doing it. So I've seen it on TV. There's one advert at the moment, shows you gym face, and it's like, I want to say, F off, no, I won't show you my gym face. So people do get caught up in this. There is conditioning around it. And we know why gyms do it. They're trying to take advantage of people wanting to do something at this time of year. But just what are your thoughts about starting new regimes in January?
So I'm going to just go against the grain almost instantly and say, if January is the time that you feel motivated, crack on. If you don't feel motivated and instead you feel pressured, January is not the time. You can do it when it suits you. So when Ruth got in touch with me, so it was the best phone call I think I've ever had in my life. It was just like, this is what I'm going to do, make it happen. And I was like, all right, okay, let's do this. This is fun. And the dog got to come too. It was great. But the thing that was so good about that is that you knew what you wanted. You knew the help you needed to do it. And you knew the timing was right for you. And when we see all of the ads, the 50% off and all of the like it's the standard sales and marketing things that we all know. Like, you've already spoken to someone about marketing in the series. Like, we all know the marketing game. And so much, I think, with like your gym membership is you sign up in January for 50% off because you feel like you should, and then you keep paying it because, well, you might use it this month, and then you get, a year down the line and they've had 6 months of your membership and you've been to 2 classes. I've absolutely been there. I have paid for more months of gym membership than I have used, like, no doubt in my mind. And it's the whole like new year, new you, all of that stuff. And it's kind of boring now. Yeah. I know it sounds awful, but it's kind of like, all right, yeah, it's January. Can we like talk about something different?
Yeah, it's January, and it's bitterly cold today as we're recording this. It's like, can we just please just cover up and not go anywhere? But there may be people who kind of think, do you know what, I've overindulged over Christmas. I don't want to join the gym. It's not right. I'm not ready to start a new exercise regime yet, but I kind of feel I need to do something. What would you suggest? What options do you think can help people right now?
So there's a few things to that. First off, exercise is not a punishment for our past behavior. So like, we don't need to, if you've eaten all of the pies, that's fine. We all have spells where we do that. We can just make different choices today. It doesn't need to relate to anything we've done in the past. I am going to be completely transparent here and just show you what's sitting on my desk right now. I'm not going to work out later to, you know, justify finishing a whole pack of minstrels in 12 hours. I am going to just embrace the fact that minstrels are amazing. And then I'm going to move, because movement is fun. So moving now, you don't need to punish yourself for having a nice Christmas. You had a nice Christmas. That's awesome. Just embrace that. What you can do instead is think about where you are right now, where you want to be, and what feels like a good way of getting there. But there's kind of a lot tangled up in here. So if you're feeling the pressure, the shoulds, the like, oh, I like need to do this because I did that, and oh, my jeans are a bit snug. Yeah, all of our jeans get snug in winter. Like, it's fine. Like, it happens. Is actually look at what you want as opposed to what you think you should want. So a lot of the time at this time of year, when people say, this is my goal, it's not really their goal. It's someone else's goal that they think they should have. It's that, like, I should want to lose weight. I should want to do a 10K in summer. I should want to do X, Y, and Z. And, do you know, like, if that is actually what you want, fair enough, you're going to have the intrinsic motivation to do it. If you're doing it out of a should, it's just going to feel a bit jarring, a little bit slack, a little bit like, oh, do I really have to do this? Do I?
What you're saying just made me think about this morning. So, because it was so frosty, I took the dog out a bit later than usual. And when we got back, it was kind of like mid-morning. And I've got a thing for giant crumpets at the moment. And I thought, oh, I'm having a giant crumpet for breakfast, and I'm just really going to enjoy it and not feel bad about it. And I did. And that's kind of what you're saying, isn't it? The choice you make, just enjoy it and don't feel bad about it.
And I would love it if I just had a list of alternatives, but the list of alternatives is longer than my leg. Like, there are so many options. You can go for walks, you can do yoga, you can do Pilates, you can dance around your kitchen like an idiot in your pants. Like, you can do whatever you want. There's no rules. Your body doesn't know if you're moving in an exercise class or if you're moving climbing up the stairs on all fours doing weird stuff. Like, we all do it sometimes. Like, just embrace it. Enjoy moving however you want to move. But if there's something that you feel drawn towards that's kind of like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but you've maybe not been looking at it directly because you feel like there's other stuff you should do first, now is the time to start peeling away those shoulds, peeling away those expectations, and then looking at the stuff that actually appeals to you. So if you've not ridden a horse for 4 years and you're like, oh, I really want to go horse riding again, but I should really like do this, that, or the next thing first, it's all right. The horses come in lots of sizes. You could, like, you know, if you're still a bit heavier than you used to be, make sure you go somewhere that's got horses you're going to feel happy riding. Like,
I love this. Enjoy moving however you want to move. And we don't think of it in that way, do we? We think we have to exercise. And I was reading something online today that I can't remember what she was head of, I don't know, the Food Standards Agency. I may have that wrong, so don't quote me. That we shouldn't take cake into the office. Taking cake into the office was on a part of passive smoking in the office, which I thought was a bit extreme. But her point was about obesity and how difficult it is to make choices with the pressures around us these days. And so when we think about, you know, our body in terms of being healthy, we think about exercise as opposed to movement. I wonder it'd be great if everybody just thought about movement, because actually sometimes it's, I've just been sat too long, I do need to go up and down the stairs and all fours. And I do sometimes go up the stairs and all fours because I'm quite short and it's easy for me to do that. So if we thought about how do we just need to move our body right now,
and do you know
that can make a difference.
Absolutely. Now, Ruth, you are very good at like being intuitive and feeling into things. So for you, the kind of playfulness comes quite naturally. I know that not everybody has that. So if you see posts like, just play, just move, and you're like, but how? Like, that's totally okay. Like, playing is actually quite an advanced skill. Like, if you think about it, you have to know lots of different ways to combine stuff. You have to kind of have an area of like knowledge or expertise or something. But you can start by just learning a few simple bodyweight exercises, a few squats, a few lunges, a plank, something like that, and then you can play with ways moving into and out of them. So there's a movement practice called animal flow, which is really good for play sort of things, because you learn a few movements and then you combine them, and then you can very quickly build this repertoire where you can start playing. If anyone does fancy like trying animal flow, message Ruth, she can put you in touch with me. We can do like animal flow. Is weird. It's really weird. There's like,
this sounds fantastic though. I'm just liking the name of it, animal flow.
The names of some of the movements are even funnier, because like loaded beast, what does that mean? Like, what is that?
I don't know, you say loaded beast and I think of like potato skins with sour cream and cheese.
I mean, I would rather do that than most things. Like, yeah, I'm here for it. I am going through a phase of really loving like dirty fries. That is my current kryptonite. So like loaded potato skins, like I am here for it. But if you can find something where you can start to learn like a little movement vocabulary, you can learn some things, then you can start putting them together, and then you can start to play. So playing isn't always the first step. If you're happy to doing some shoulder rolls, doing some squats, doing some weird stuff, that's a great place to be if that's where you are right now. Now, I slightly obtusely started going to the gym again in like the last 2 weeks of December. I was like, this is when I'm going to start, because I actually feel better starting in a kind of offbeat time. Yeah. Like I prefer that. It seems to work better for me. So I'll start new things on a Thursday, because I'm just like, oh, actually this feels quite nice, because we put a lot of pressure on Mondays. Mondays, first of the month, first of the year, loads of pressure on those days. Let's like share the love. Let's do things on the 17th. I thought it was the 17th today, it's the 18th. I thought I was gonna get the right day by mistake and I didn't. Like, let's just do random stuff on the 17th. Like, start things then. Start things when it feels good for you. And especially if you follow the seasons, if you are someone with a menstrual cycle, or if you have had a cycle, or if you very much live in a cyclical manner, follow your cycle. Like, the day doesn't know what day it is. Like, you get to choose when you feel like you want to do something. And obviously, if you are, and this is where I have to kind of go a little bit on the not harsher front, but this is about as harsh as I get, I think, is like, if you are, if your health is suffering because you don't want to do things, that is when it's time to get more support. That's when it's time to speak to people. That's when it's time to, get an informed and good personal trainer. They are plenty out there. There are some absolute morons too, but there are really good personal trainers out there. There are people who can help with injury rehab, with weight loss, with like trauma-informed practitioners. There are so many people out there who can help you get moving if you can't do it for yourself. Because movement is, I say this as a healthy 30-year-old woman, movement is a nice thing to do. And I can say that because I've never needed to move to get better, to improve my health. I've been there the whole time. So if that gap, if you are somewhere that is not great right now and you need to get somewhere better, support. It's a hard thing. You cannot layer in enough checkpoints, coaches, friends who are going to get it, workout buddies. You cannot have too much support to do this. You still have to do the work. But having that safety net of people around you, like Ruth, like you said, with your bringing cake into the office, your environment is such a big deal. And I mean, look at an amateur tennis player. How much support do they have? They might get a massage every now and again and have a coach. Look how many people Andy Murray has around him. He's got like multiple coaches. He's got like a specialist in like back pain. He's obviously had his hip done. He's worked with physiotherapists. He's got strength and conditioning coaches, because what he's doing is really freaking hard. If you're trying to do something really freaking hard, you need a support team like that. You need people covering all bases. So if you are struggling, that doesn't mean you need to keep struggling by yourself. It means you need to help find people to bridge the gap. So January is a good time for doing that, because a lot of coaches that I know, a lot of coaches that don't really buy into the whole January thing, we're quite quiet because we're like, we'll have a nice January and we'll be. But
here. I think that's a really good point, though, isn't it? Because even if you're not ready to take the action in January, but it's something you're thinking of doing, come the spring when the weather's better, maybe I'll, I know I'll feel more motivated because I'll be more likely to go outside. But actually, if I do need help right now, that's something I could be looking at, researching, asking my friends about, talking to people about, finding who's a good kind of personal trainer or fit for me, someone who can give me ideas. It's kind of a nice time to be doing that, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. Totally, 100%. And when it comes to, if you do decide to look for support, to find someone who can help you on the kind of trickier goals, or if you just actually, you are busy enough, you just want to outsource that thinking, there are so many different like trainers out there. Like, you don't need to stick with the first person you work with if they don't feel like a good fit. Now, there's I see this a lot more with horse riding, so I'm going to use it as my like baseline and then kind of scale it to this. But with horse riding, you will get horses that you get on with and horses that you are like, I do not understand you. Why do we not gel? Like, what is this? And it's not going to be the same as your friends. Friend of mine that I ride with, we have opposite taste. We never like the same horses. I think something's great. They're like, that is an awful thing to sit on. I don't know why you enjoy that. And we're like, okay, that's cool. We'll try and ride more the horses we like. And we try and ride with instructors that get us. Because it's all about the relationships. Horse riding is inherently about a relationship. It's a partnership. You have to get on with each other. But then when we look at kind of human only things, when you look at pole instructors, yoga instructors, personal trainers, we kind of think we just have to go with whoever's there. But actually, it takes years to find a riding instructor that you're like, yeah, like this is the one that I want to work with. It takes years to find that yoga instructor. Well, sometimes you get lucky and you get on the first try. But for me, it's taken a long time to find the coaches who I'll go to again and again and again and again. Because not everybody's going to answer your questions the way you need them to be answered.
So that's a really important point, isn't it? It's about feeling your own empowerment in the process and being able to say, thanks for your time, I'm going somewhere else now, and not feeling you're upsetting someone.
Yeah.
I think there's something else around exercise. And when you talked about people who are not well and it's now reached, an imperative point that they take some action or find someone, I think there's a certain level of embarrassment. So when I called you to help me that time and just said, look, just get me off the sofa, I've got to move more. I knew I could say that to you. I knew there would be no judgment from you. I knew you'd be kind of willing to help me, which you were. But I think there can be embarrassment, especially if it's something that people have ignored for a long time. It's difficult, if they could have done it, they would have done something about it by now. So what can you say to people that can perhaps help them when they're talking to someone, just to help them over that kind of I'm embarrassed about my body, I'm embarrassed this has happened to me? What's your take on that as a personal trainer?
First off, I have skipped so many workouts and had so many like crappy like things and like putting things off and not doing it, things that I've literally written a book about skipping workouts. Like, that is how much I have skipped workouts. So
and when's the book out? Just tell us that.
27th of January. What? But I totally empathize with everything. Like, I'm a fitness instructor. I work with lots of fitness instructors, like, and I work with people who are really great. And all of us, like, we know how hard it is to be in your shoes because all of us have been there. At least the people that you want to work with, they've been in a similar place to you. They've kind of felt that they can see your journey and accept where you are and support you where you are without any judgment, without any anything else. For me, as a personal point of view, exercise is really challenging. If you're stressed about other stuff and then you add in a challenging workout or something like that, stress is likely to bubble up there. Any person who has coached me in anything for any length of time has seen me cry, because it's when I'm doing that challenging stuff that the frustration comes out, like everything it just bubbles. And that's when I'm like, right, sorry, I'm emotional about this. I need a minute. And I've worked in the fitness industry for 13 years and I have still, I think the most recent time I cried in a session, it was during lockdown. And I was having an online pole lesson. So I was in my living room. Colleen was in the States. It was great. Colleen's fantastic. I trust her. I, respect her. I value her as an instructor. But a simple trick that I can normally do, bish, bash, bosh, made me cry. And I was like, I just need a minute. And then can we just scale right back? Because even though that's normally something I can do, today is not the day. We all have those fluctuations. And actually, so just with kind of resonating with someone, sorry, I just totally cut you off there. Okay. You need to find someone who you're safe being as vulnerable as you need to be around them. I like, my emotions come up whether I want them to or not. So I need to be with people who are going to hold that space and kind of protect me and look after me in that place. Not everybody needs that. Some people just need someone who's going to be like, right, here's some workouts, go do your thing. But if you need that, it's even more important to find the right person who's going to meet you where you are and see you. and
But I
work
think
with
you're
you.
right. I think a lot of people need that, and especially people who've perhaps not exercised for quite some time, have had that injury, things have just slipped, but they're kind of ready to begin doing something. It's like this New Year's idea, start of the year idea, we're gung ho, we get back to the gym, we do this. And actually, um, someone once told me a great thing, which is how I personally am, the crescendo effects. And you hear this a lot actually in professional sports as well, about the incremental effect and small things making a big change. It's kind of that starting off soft and gentle, as you say, with someone who can hold the space for those vulnerabilities of, I'm here for my first session, I'm absolutely terrified about what we're going to do, and that person recognizes that and doesn't force you, but just gently takes you through some things to help build that confidence. And I think there is still this stereotype of, you go to the gym and it's boom boom boom, and there are these instructors who are pushing you and pushing you, and that's not right for some people, because it's like the just do it slogan. I just turn around and say, get lost,
Yeah.
and it was put me off.
Totally. And that's where you need to find the people that resonate with you. And there are some people where they just do it, the just be disciplined about it, where that's enough advice. Like, but there's so many people where just be disciplined about it. You're like, well, if I could be disciplined about it, I wouldn't still be Googling
Exactly.
this problem. Like, clearly that's something, like, what are you, come on, my friend. Like, if I could do that, I would.
Exactly.
And that's where, I'm very, very much about kind of like shattering the shame element and kind of talking about the embarrassing stuff in my fitness journey, and actually kind of owning it and being okay with that. Because, one of the daftest things, and I know that we all do it, if you're out of breath and you try and hide it, like, how bonkers is that? Like, if you're working out, if you're walking fast, if you're walking up a hill, you're allowed to be out of breath. We don't need to hide how our body functions. We don't need to hide that that's a normal part of it. Getting sweaty. Yeah, you're working out. Of course you're sweaty. That's what bodies do. And I think when you're not used to that kind of approach, when you're not used to being able to be kind of real and just present and just doing what you're doing, you can kind of hold back a little bit. And it means you hold back the breath. You notice you're getting sweaty, so you tone it down a bit to hide it. When actually we kind of need to be able to step into and hold that space for ourselves and be like, I am here. I am beetroot, I am out of breath, and I'm going to need to lie down when I get home. Because, we've all been there. I actually once remember standing up in a gym after doing, I think I was preparing for a competition, and I just left this perfect wet outline of my body shape on the floor. And I was like, I'm going to go get a mop. I was just so sweaty. I was disgusting. It was a hot day. Bodies do body things. And do you know what? I think one of the things that I know so many people are really embarrassed about, and farting during a workout.
I knew you were going to
so
say
many
that just
people
then.
who are so worried about that. And like, it happens. It happens to everybody. Bodies are going to do body things. Emotions are going to be there. Like it, I think if you can, there's a quote that I'm really liking, so you can only meet people as far as they've met themselves. To meet your coach where like they want you to be, you have to be okay with showing up as a whole person. And if you're not there yet, that's fine. Take the time you need to, get back in touch with your body, do some breath work, start to feel what it's like to be in your own skin, and feel what it's like without judging it. Like, everybody's body has things about it they don't like. Everybody's body has things about it that they're like, oh no, that's well embarrassing. Like, oh, I don't like that. I mean, I bite my nails so badly. I'm embarrassed by my hands. You can't hide your hands. So like the most embarrassing thing that I have is just out on show all the time, and nobody looks at me like I'm going to give them any diseases. Nobody judge, like, I bite my nails. It's something I'm embarrassed about, but it's there. You can start to get to that more neutral point where you can see the bits that you're not a fan of and still work with them. My hands still do amazing things. They can still do a job. I can still appreciate them without liking them.
There's just so much tied up, isn't there, in this idea of movement and exercise. It brings out, insecurities. And I think as well, for people my age, you don't realize how much things have moved on and the different types of classes there are now. So one of my cousins was talking to me at the weekend, and she went to a clubber-sized class for the first time, dancing to 90s music with glow sticks, and it was in the dark, and she said it's brilliant because if my footwork's wrong, no one sees me. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool actually. So she's kind of found something new now. And I remember something you introduced me to, which I loved, and I do need to find a way to do it again, was aerial yoga. And I remember
Yeah.
turning up thinking, oh my God, I can't do this. And then it's trusting the equipment. And then when you do trust the equipment and you just kind of move, it was just like, oh, this is amazing. So I think,
You
there's
absolutely
so
smashed
many.
that as well.
Sorry?
You absolutely smashed that as well.
Do you know what? It was just wonderful. And there's so many more types of exercise now that, when I was growing up, you went to kind of like aerobics or step, and that was it. And I think there is a widening now, isn't there, of what can
There
be
is.
done.
So a good friend of mine, she does drum and bass hit workouts. All of her classes are to drum and bass. You can find a movement class that will fit your music preferences. Never mind anything else. Like, it's all to the music. She does like boxercise to drum and bass. Like, I mean, it's not a style of movement I like. Her classes are all first thing in the morning, so I've never been to her classes. I've seen them, and I'm like, I know lots of people who go to them, but I can totally appreciate the niche that she's offering people and be like, I will not be there at 7. I will be in my bed. Thank you.
It's music's interesting, isn't it? Because music and exercise probably make those chemicals in your body, the oxytocin or whatever it is, that brings back that happiness. Because I think when there is music involved, and I'm very music orientated, if I was sat here and there's music going, my shoulders would start and then the rest of me would go.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's just that idea of thinking about what you said earlier, kind of like, what does it for you? What makes you want to move?
And actually, music is if you're trying to work out at home, give yourself time to transition. So if you're thinking, right, it's January, I'm going to start working out at home. Home is full of cues to sit down, to work, to eat, to chill out. There's nothing in your house that says like, yeah, do some work, like do some exercise. Like, we have to start making those associations. And music is one way you can do it. Smell. So I quite like having a diffuser with kind of a citrusy, kind of a more like vibrant thing, because that can help you kind of build some kind of outside associations. And as you build that, you can, put this diffuser on and you'll be a bit more like, oh, right, I smell oranges, I've got to go do this thing. But I have set songs that I do specific things to. The last 5 minutes of every run I go on, I listen to Holiday by Green Day. That's the song I finish it like that every time. And it's like, if I hear that song now, I think about being at that point of a run where I'm warm, I'm in the rhythm. Like, so if I've got a day that I feel sluggish, I'll listen to that song while I'm getting ready because it puts me in that place. If I'm doing a big strength movement, you can tell my like teenage years were filled with emo tunes, but like a big strength movement, Down with the Sickness by Disturbed, I don't listen to that on a day-to-day basis, but if I'm about to do something really stupid, I need that support. I need something else to help me get in that zone. So use the other cues around you, use music, use smell, use light. If you normally sit with lamps on, okay, it's not quite so pleasant, but whap the big lights on.
Yeah, I don't like the big light.
Nobody likes the big light, but if it makes your surroundings feel different, that can help change you from I'm sitting at my desk to I'm working out. Nobody can go, well, some people can, but I think they probably need examined for like, not being right. But I cannot go from sitting at my desk to working out, not without something else going on. So that's where music is going to play a big part. Having external accountability, other people you do that with. It's really complicated. There's a lot to exercise and the reasons people do and don't do it. It's a massive topic. And I have no idea what time it is or how long I've been speaking for. But basically, do what you want, do things the way that you want to do it, and whatever works, keep doing more of that. If something doesn't work, change it.
Do you know what? I was going to say to you, I'm just going to try and wrap up some of the things you've said, and you've done it beautifully there. But I'll tell you what I wrote down as well. It's like, just accept where you are now, think about where you want to be, what might be a good way of getting there. Remember, it's about what you want to do, not someone else's goal. There are no rules around movement. Enjoy moving however you want to move. Playfulness. Start when it feels good for you. So, you know, the Thursdays, the middle of the month, you know, just pick something different to be offbeat. The external accountability, and then just the memory associations that you've talked about, different things, music, you know, having the diffuser, the smells, looking at other things that are available. You also talked about, you know, looking for the person that resonates with you. So there's a lot of really good information in there.
Yeah.
So Shona, thank you so much.
That's all right.
I am excited for your book. Just tell us the title again.
So it's called Why You Skipped Your Workout. Now, this is just the proof, but I will just wave it because it's on my desk. So it's called Why You Skipped Your Workout. It's a chunky boy. I didn't think it was going to be this chunky. And it comes out on 27th of January. So it is available through Amazon. I will be looking at other options eventually, I think.
Marvelous. So
but it's there. So Why You Skipped Your Workout. My name is a nightmare to spell. So there are downloads in it, and I have like another website that people can use, but that's not live yet, so I'll stay with that one. But yeah, you can find that there, and Ruth will share my details. And
absolutely will. I'll put the information with that.
And just as one last thing, if you don't know what to do, reaching out for help is the biggest step you can take. So asking for help, asking questions, that is a step forward. That's not a cop-out, that's not deferring stuff, that is proactively moving towards stuff. So if you've watched this and you're like, God, I still have no idea what the frick I'm doing, ask a question, speak to someone. That's all part of it. We all need other people to help us. And
I think there's lots of ideas here for the people. And Shona, thank you so much. And viewers, just so you know, I hadn't invited Shona because of the book. I knew she was writing the book. But when I wanted to do a Not in January about exercise and kind of, if it's not the right time to join the gym, we don't have to, she was the first person I thought about. So we're not selling to you, we're merely making you aware of what's going on. So Shona, thank you so much for doing this to me today. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, thank you
for all the viewers, as you said, the information will be around wherever you watch this video.
Do you know, it's lovely talking about this instead of writing about it. I'm so ready to speak to humans.
So if you want to speak to Shona, I'll put her email in, her contact details, and you can contact her directly and have a conversation, because she's fed up of writing about it now.
Yeah,
thank you very much, Shona.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care.
And thanks to all of you who've been watching. See you for the next episode. Bye.
Bye.